Hello. All right, so let's start over. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sandra. I'm Sandra Senior, and from Irie Salon and Spa, and this is what we call the Irie Lifestyle event. We do quite a few different events, workshops, so on and so forth. So thank you for joining us and this afternoon, and we can't wait to get started. We have a few guests, and this is part two, and what we're going to, when we say this is 50, there's a lot going on at 50, and basically it's anything to do with getting older and the different things we do and all the hats we wear and managing life. And this week, the holidays are coming up. We're hearing a lot in the news about what's going on out there. On top of that, the pandemic is happening. So basically, we're trying to figure out ways to maneuver that, to maneuver the holidays, maneuver the time, maneuver getting together with family, so on and so forth. So thank you for joining us. And let's see, I want to introduce you guys to, again, I'm Sandra Senior. I'm a licensed massage therapist, an integrative wellness nutritional coach. And we're chatting today with Faith Saunders, executive producer and host of Discover a New Feature, the TV show, and author of Break Free, 52 Tips to Escape from Your Self-Imposed Prison and Journal to Wellness, the life you desire and deserve. And we're speaking with Kim Booker, the board member and trained facilitator of the Suppers program, and Taylor Erkinen of the Brooklyn Kitchen. And I pronounced that right, Taylor, correct?
You did very well.
Oh.
Erkinen. Yes. It's from the north of Europe, Finland.
Yeah. Okay. Just switch your camera around.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fun. I didn't move it. It just decided.
Yeah. Sometimes it depends if you went, depending on what you went with. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Ariane.
Perfect. Okay. So, I'm going to introduce Faith, and she's going to speak first. And Faith is going to talk to us about the stress of the season. And just to introduce, we already told you, she, the executive producer and the host of Discover a New Future. And Faith's mission is to support individuals to be the best version of themselves. So I'll give just a quick bio for Faith, so you know who we're talking to. Faith received a master's degree in psychiatric rehabilitation. She was also an adjunct professor at Rutgers University School of Health-Related Professionals for many years. And most recently, she joined the faculty of Mercer County Community College. After leaving Rutgers, Faith worked with the Mental Health Association of New Jersey, where she implemented and developed a New Jersey state-funded employment institute called the Career Connection Employment Resource Institute, and which she served as a director for 14 years. So Faith, you're going to give us some tips and tricks. How can we maneuver this holiday season? There's a lot going on because on top of everything, we also have the pandemic. Did we lose Faith?
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Sandra, for having me. This is my second time on This is 50, and I really appreciate you having me and to be here. I wanted just to make a little addition to what you mentioned in terms of my bio, which is to me the most important thing, the work that I do now, and that I have my company called Discover a New Future, where I do a lot of training and consultation about wellness, employment, and leadership. Personal development is a big part of what I do. So I'm really happy to be here and to be able to share with you some tips or tricks to get through this very, very unprecedented holiday season, as I just mentioned, right? So let's start. if my mouse would actually do its thing. 1 minute. There it is. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about the holiday blues, right? And normally that's something that many people experience. And some people may say that's a hoax. Nobody really goes through that. But yes, there are people who have a very difficult time during not only the holiday season, but individuals who have a very difficult time during the winter months because it gets darker early. Right now it's like 5:30 and it's like pitch dark outside. It's like, oh my God, it's like midnight, right? And so it does something to some people that makes them very depressed. And so they have a very difficult time during this time of year. But in addition to that, there are individuals who have the holiday blues, which is feeling very sad during the holiday time, feeling very lonely, depressed, anxious. And that usually happens during the November, December, during those 2 months, Thanksgiving through the New Year, right? So these things are real for people. But as I mentioned earlier, we are in an unprecedented year in general. No, we can say we went down in history in 2020 for
Yeah.
so many reasons, right? Which we'll kind of touch on in a few minutes. So that's what the holiday blues are. And so that we are all on the same page. But what causes this? What causes this is we feel lonely, we feel that the holidays is here and we don't have anyone to celebrate it with, or, some people, which I'm going to go through to that also, people have had losses, and that's a big thing this year due to the pandemic. A lot of people had losses in their lives, people who have passed away, not directly related to the pandemic, but also due to the pandemic. And what made the pandemic make it even so worse, losing someone during this time, is that our normal traditions of actually mourning and grieving our loss has been disrupted. The way we used to get together and have go to the funeral and actually have the repast and all of those things have been cut short due to the pandemic. So the ways of grieving and dealing with how we usually grieve has been disrupted due to the pandemic. Also, there's a lot of financial strains now. People have lost their jobs. There are a lot of businesses that have folded due to the pandemic. Just they couldn't sustain themselves due to that, to the financial um, uh, burden that it put on their company. So people have lost their jobs. There are so many people on unemployment, and it's just a very, very stressful time financially for a lot of people. And that has always been a situation for the holidays, because you're thinking, no, I have to buy all these gifts and I don't really have that resources. And in the past, many people put themselves in a lot of debt to be able to purchase gifts for individuals, etc. So we have that. And then we have the social anxiety. Some people have a very difficult time being in social setting, and especially even if it's with families. To be honest, we have to face it. There's some people in our family we don't want to see. Face it, we don't want to see them. But the holidays kind of say, we have to get in, we have to be with them. But we're going with a heavy heart because it brings so much stress to be around some people. It's just life. It's just part of family and the dynamics, but we have to deal with it, right? So the social anxiety, I think that's going to be a little bit less this year due to the pandemic, because we can't really socialize the way that we used to, or we should not be socializing the way that we used to, right? So I think that for some people that's like, yes, I don't have to go wherever I have to go. The stress in all of just being around the holiday, that the media and everything, the glamour and everything that goes, the commercialization of the whole thing just create a lot of stress for folks, because there are certain expectations, and sometimes people don't feel that they can meet those expectations, or they generally just can't meet those expectations, and it puts a lot of stress on them. And there's the outside stressor of the commercialization of the holiday seasons, but sometimes we put a lot of unrealistic expectations on ourselves in terms of what we need to do or what we need to have and all of those things, which brings up a lot of anxiety and stress for us. So as I mentioned, this year is unprecedented. And unprecedented, I love to define things because I take things for granted sometimes. And, it means that never done or known before. So 2020 definitely is not like any year any of us have ever experienced in our lifetime. And so why is that? Because of COVID-19. We're still in a pandemic. At this point, we felt that, oh, we'll be actually back to normal with quotation marks around it, and definitely we're far from it. I mean, in fact, we're regressing instead of progressing at this point as it pertains to the pandemic. So everyone is grieving, not only individuals who have lost a loved one, but we all are grieving in some shape or form, because the life that we knew is no longer is. The things that we used to do as a normal part of our lives, going out, going hanging out with our friends, just being able to hug someone, just basic things that we took for granted. We don't have that anymore, and we are all grieving because of that. We're stressed to the max. I mean, now our homes are not only our homes. Our home is our gym. It's a classroom. It is all of these different factors, right? So there is no separation in terms of, or no break in terms of what to do, where our life starts or where it ends. So all of that brings up a lot of stress for us. And also, I mentioned the social distancing, so we can't really be getting together the way that we used to. Another thing that happened this year is the social injustice issues that came up. George Floyd and all of those, Breonna Taylor, all of those things that came up, all the individuals who passed away because of those issues. We also had a very tumultuous election time, and also the elections is over, things are not totally settled. So again, that's bringing up a lot of anxiety for our folks. And of course, I put a blank line. You guys can fill in the blank, right? Because each of us have different things that actually made this year unprecedented for us. So what are some of the warning signs? Because I think if nothing else that you walk away today from is two things, this and what I'm going to mention in terms of tips. The first one is the key thing is the warning signs. What are the warning signs that we are not doing well emotionally? And we can talk about physical. We're not doing well physically. I have a pain in my back, I have a pain on my shoulder, and all these pieces, which is great. But when it comes to emotional wellness, there's something that is just such a taboo. We don't want to go there, but it's such a critical part of who we are. If we don't take care of our mental wellness, then it impacts every aspect of our lives. So let's talk about what are some of the warning signs. What are some of the signs that your body gives to you that you are not doing well emotionally? And here are just a few of them. Sometimes we have difficulty concentrating. It's like with everything, we're reading a sentence and we're reading the sentence about 10 times and we don't understand a word that the sentence is saying, right? So we have difficulty concentrating. We're feeling irritable and angry, and we're feeling this way, but we're not even sure why we're feeling this way, but we're feeling this way. There's feeling of exhaustion and fatigue, just feeling so tired, just wanting to sleep, that exhaustion. So that's another sign that something may be off kilter. Feeling of loneliness, we talked about that. And again, the holiday season sometimes bring that up for many of us. It's a time where we see us getting together and enjoying each other's company, etc. And some people feel alone, very alone. And again, especially this year because of the social distancing and the inability to really travel and be with other individuals. The lack of pleasure in normal activities. So if you're feeling that, the things that you really enjoy doing, you have no interest in them anymore, that's something, maybe a sign that, what is happening? Something is off here. Losing interest in activities that are normally enjoyable. So again, talking about that. And disruption of sleeping patterns. Some people just find it very, very difficult to sleep, and disrupting in sleeping pattern doesn't mean that you not only cannot sleep, you cannot fall asleep, or you have restless sleep, but it also means that some people sleep a lot. They spend most of the time sleeping instead of being up doing the things that they normally would be doing. So those are just a few of the warning signs that you may be coming down with the holiday blues, or you're just not doing well emotionally this holiday season. And be mindful of that, because the earlier you can be aware of that, the better it is. You can nip it in the bud earlier. And the next thing I put here is, what is your warning sign? What are your warning signs? That's a typo, folks. We talked about that when we did the first one, that sometimes you make errors and it's like, okay, because you know what? You get what I mean. So, so what are some of the warning signs that your mental wellness is being challenged? And I really challenge you to kind of think about that for yourself. What it is, what are some of the signs that my body tells me, or that are signs that I'm not doing well emotionally? Then we're going to talk about some helpful tips. And these are the next thing that I'd love for you to just walk away with. Some of the things you can do during this holiday season to feel better. Acknowledge how you're feeling. That's the first thing. Acknowledge it. Feel it, stay with it, acknowledge what you're feeling. And by acknowledging what you're feeling, you will be in a better space to figure out what is the triggers that may be causing this to happen, right? So being able to acknowledge what you're feeling, and pay attention. And this is something that someone reminded me of last Wednesday when I was on a webinar. Pay attention to your thought process. So what pops up in your mind? What are some of the thoughts that you're thinking? Because those within themselves are great trigger. It's great insight in terms of really what may be happening for you, right? Switch up the tradition, right? We used to get together and we used to, prepare all these different meals, and in a few minutes we're going to have some ladies who are going to show us how to kind of eat more healthy during the holiday season, but really enjoy the season. So switching up, our tradition. So what do I mean by that? I'll go into that in a little bit. I'm going to give you some tips in that area. Let people close to you know what's going on. Share that you're not feeling well. I'm not feeling this holiday season. I'm feeling so down this holiday season. But sharing is very important. Just getting it out there, because you may find out that somebody else, the people you're sharing, is feeling the same way. So sometimes just even putting it out there can make you feel better. But also in alignment with that is, it's also very important to allow people to help you. So sometimes we feel that asking for help is a sign of weakness, but the truth is that most of the time when we don't ask for help, that's the sign of weakness, right? So that's very important for us to be aware of, letting people know how we're feeling, but also be open to receiving support. Don't set unrealistic expectations, and each person will know what that is for themselves. For some people it may be, I have to buy all this gift for everybody under the sun, and I don't have the money this year, or I lost my job, or I'm not working the number of hours I used to work, or I have all these bills that have accumulated due to the pandemic, etc. Whatever the situation is, don't set unrealistic expectation in terms of what you have to do, and because some of those things are things that are not necessary, but we are putting them on ourselves. Don't compare how they passed to now. Two different times. We're in a pandemic, folks, right? Something that never happened. So we can't compare what the holidays were in the past to what they are now. It's like comparing apples and oranges. The only thing they have in common is that they're fruits. Get enough rest and exercise. That's critical for us to do, is to get a lot of exercise and rest, and focus on others. That's so important. So often we're so caught up in ourselves, in our own heads, that we don't even realize the things that we need to be so grateful for. We have so much ahead of us. This morning I went walking and it was cold outside, and I'm thinking, you know what, at least I can go back home. I have a warm coat and I have gloves and I have everything that I need to keep myself warm. But I was thinking, what happened to individuals who don't have that? You don't have have a roof over your head when the time is as cold as it is. So we have a lot that we can be grateful for, and gratitude is such a big part when we're going through some of these challenges that we're going through in our life, that despite things that are going, and not to undermine what we're going through, but also to realize that we still have a lot going for us. So focusing on others is very important. And last but not least, getting professional help if needed. So I'm going to highlight two things, and then I'm going to pass it back over to Sandra. The first one is switching up the tradition. Some tips for switching up the tradition. One is cook and have dinner virtually. And the ladies are going to talk about stuff like that. So I don't want to take away their thunder, but one idea that I have done through the pandemic, my daughter live in Virginia. And so what I did was we had dinner. Occasionally we had dinners via Zoom. So she was cooking our own meal and we were cooking our own meals here, and we just sat and we just talked and ate our meal and discussed what we were eating, etc. You know, it's the next best thing that we could actually come up with. Even for some of my friends, I had dinner and a movie. I sent out an invitation to all my friends and said, you're invited to dinner and a movie. And so I streamed the movie via Zoom, and everyone was at their home and they watched the movie while we were all eating dinner at our respective homes. So we have to be creative this holiday season. That's what I'm trying to say. So there are different ways. And I know the ladies are going to talk more about that. Instead of buying gifts, make your gifts. You don't have to buy stuff. People really appreciate when they get a handmade gift. It shows that you have thought of them, and you have put a lot of thought, and not only thought, but also action or ways of actually showing how much you care about them. If you feel that you're not creative and you can't make anything, write somebody even a card or even a letter. You know, so many people this year wish that they had said what they meant to say to their loved ones who are not here because of whatever reason. Maybe the pandemic caused, or because of some other ways they may have lost someone. So it's the simple things. One of the things, if anything, that this year has taught us is that it's the simple things that really matters, like reaching out to people we care about, telling people that we care about, that we love them. And just doing that with this holiday season could make a big difference in somebody's life. Doing something for someone else. There's someone who may not have dinner, or who may not be able to prepare a meal, or may not have the resources to buy the food. You know, send them a gift card, a ShopRite gift card or something, you know, or prepare a meal and just drop it by their door and tell them, open the door, there's something there for you, right? Doing something for someone else. Reaching out to someone who may also be going through a difficult time, also sending a text or even calling, etc. Lost someone who you care about during the holiday. Create a memory book. Have your friends send pictures and just words of or I think that they remembered about this person, pleasant things that they remembered about this person, and put a book together, a memory book together. That's a wonderful way of remembering someone. And I'm opening it up. Any other ideas that you have? When you view this, put that in the response area of this. Some of the ideas of how we can switch up the holiday season. So last but not least, how to get some professional help. Here in New Jersey, we're fortunate to have a program called New Jersey Hope and Healing that's funded by the Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services through a FEMA grant. And that's to help individuals in New Jersey, no matter who you are, to be able to get some support without even thinking about the financial component of it. The New Jersey Hope and Healing program has a number of different components, one of which is they have individual support, which is trained professionals, mental health professionals who you can actually call and speak with. And this is the number 866-202-HELP or 4357. And the wonderful thing about this is that not only do you have a trained professional you're speaking with, they're open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They're open right now, folks. And other awesome part of this is that they do have bilingual staff, so they can can actually touch the lives of so many people. So that's an option that's available for folks. So these are the numbers: 866-202-HELP. We also, which is very unique for us, is that we have a tech support line. And why do we have a tech support line? Because not everyone wants to pick up the phone or want to be on a webinar, which is another component of what we do. We have a number of different support groups that are happening on various topics around the pandemic. I do one on for parents, single parents, but I have single as well as coupled individuals joining us. And we talk about issues that impact our being parents, and especially as it pertains to the pandemic. But we have a tech support line, and it's so easy to use, folks. You put in the telephone, where you'd put your telephone number, 51684. Then you would put in NJ Hope in the area. You'd write your message, send it off. You'll get this link and you sign in, and then you'll be connected to a great resource, which are trained professionals, again, mental health professionals, who will keep connected with you. You could speak with through text. So that's a great resource and a very unique resource that is available to folks. The other wonderful thing about the text line is that each day you get a little reminder of little things you can do to maintain your overall mental and physical wellness. So it's a great tool to have. I love having it. I'm registered and I do get my daily reminders, which is very, very helpful. So as I said, this is what I have for you. Hopefully you learned something from it. Again, my name is Faith Saunders. I'm the founder and owner of Discover a New Future, where we do a wide gamut of different training consultations. If you have any questions or any needs, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If I don't have the answer, I will definitely connect you with someone who will. So my website is www.discoveranewfuture.com, and my email address is info@discoveranewfuture.com, and my telephone number is 201-608-3004. And thank you again, Sandra, for actually having me.
No problem, no problem. Thank you for a great presentation. I love some of those ideas. That dinner and a movie sounds like that sounds like a plan, because I have a pretty big family, and I have a pretty big family, and the thing is that we always get together. It's also my mom's birthday. It's always a big thing for Thanksgiving around that time, either the weekend of, so on and so forth. So what's happening is, we might have to do some of those adjustments. If one or two of us get together, maybe, because mom is not going to join any Zoom. I know that. Someone has to go there, log her in. Oh, let's suggest a movie or stream a movie. So I really, really love that idea. So any other suggestions anyone has? Because you know what, there's a lot going on. There's just a lot. And we still just have to maintain that family and friends, because there are people that every year they have Friendsgiving, they're alone, they're from somewhere else, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I think it's very, very important to maintain that connection. And again, like you said, acknowledging that there's an issue or there's a problem on how you're feeling, start there, and tackle it one by one. But yeah, let's make this a good holiday season the best we can. Yeah, and I'll get started on making something. I'm like, okay, I'm a maker. I like to make stuff.
You're an artist. You can make a ton load of stuff, girl. You can even teach people how to make some stuff here.
I don't know about that, but yeah, let me start making something. And, but on top of that too, it's shop small. There's a lot of small businesses that are struggling. So you know what, log on and see what they have going on, or a service or something that they can also provide during the holidays, and instead of, getting a big gift. I won't mention any other companies' names, but so on and so forth. But you know what? Shop small also. Don't forget your local businesses. They have cute stuff.
Sandra, I'm going to plug my own piece here in terms of my little tins with little inspirational quotes
Oh
and
yeah,
challenging questions. You
yeah.
know, those are little tin, and they're very inexpensive to
Mm.
help you to it's things to help us to navigate our life on a daily basis. So it asks you like name. It has a quote, and then usually you have a question. So whatever pertaining to the quote. So for example, one of them lists. There's a quote. Well, let me see. Continue talking. I find them and I'll share one with you.
All right, show us later.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna move on to Kim. Hello, Kim. How are you? Good morning. Well, good afternoon. I keep saying good morning. Why do you know what it is? I'm drinking my mimosa. It's brunch time. I made my mimosa. Well, it's virgin. Okay, guys, it's virgin mimosa.
No judgment.
I'm all about the mocktail.
No
So,
judgment. That's what we practice here at suppers. No.
exactly. It's a virgin mimosa. It tastes just as good. It's sparkling. It's fun. You know, you don't miss out. You know, you don't feel like you're missing out. But anyway, I feel like it's brunch. Let's do it. Or you know, some tea. I'm a tea girl also. So have your tea. I should have put on one of those little hats. Then, you know, when you're having tea with the ladies, the little fascinator or something, to really feel like yeah, with your pinky up.
Please, let's have tea together sometime soon.
Let's do a tea, then a ladies tea, and get
I'm
all
talking
dressed
more
up
about the
because
tea.
nowadays I want to get dressed up for no reason. So that's perfect. So I'll let you guys know who Kim about Kim. I was so glad to happy to meet her or be introduced to her. Um, so basically, Kim Booker is the board member and trained facilitator at the Suppers program, and she'll tell us more about that. And as Kim says, her most prized possession and best accomplishment are her three beautiful young adults. I'll tell her Lamar, Nia, and Isaiah. And she has a granddaughter, Nyla. You have a granddaughter? Look at her, looking all. See, that's what I'm talking about. Over 50 and looking hot, eating right, doing the right exercise. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So Kim is an IRS safeguard liaison with the New Jersey Department of Human Services and the Division of Family Development, and is responsible for securing clients' federal tax information. She has a bachelor's degree in psychology from Ohio State University. And when Kim's grandmother developed Alzheimer's, she moved back to New Jersey after 25 years in Ohio. Wow. I guess you like it there.
Yes,
And highly motivated to prevent Alzheimer's, she is very concerned about the diagnoses commonly among African Americans, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, heart conditions. And as she says, I truly want to learn more, not just for me, but to help my family and friends overcome their health issues and live a full life, a life full of vitality. I'm here to serve and make difference in the lives of others, but first I have to help myself. True, true, true. You start with yourself. And so thank you for joining us. And let's talk a little bit more, because yes, that is one of my big concerns with the communities. Like there's so many high numbers with the diabetes, high blood pressure. How can we keep that in mind as we're approaching the holidays? So we have to keep that in mind, because there are some dishes, like some people don't skimp, but we have to keep that in mind, because we're at that age and we want to, make sure everything's yummy. So yeah, so talk to us about that.
well, thank you, Sandra. Yes, I learned about suppers about 3 years ago, and our fearless leader, Dora Mullen, unfortunately, she passed away in March. But this little lady, she came into my life at the right time, and she taught me so much in these last 3 years about healthy eating. So the suppers program definitely has changed my life, and I felt the need to definitely learn more, as you stated, so that I could help not only myself but also others. So with suppers, we support one another in our intentions to lead a healthier lifestyle. And like I said, there's no judgment, for we know that we can't heal when we feel judged. So when we come together with the suppers program, before COVID, we would cook together. we would sit down and eat together, and we would share healthy topics. So whether like now with Faith saying that there's a support, we need our support system. This is an intentional community where we can support one another. If we had a bad week, if we had 5 Snickers, 5 brownies, it's like,
the
okay,
little ones, the little ones.
the little ones from Halloween.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm a coffee drinker, and people that know me know I love my coffee, but I try to keep it down to the 1 in the morning to get going. But we do talk about healthy topics. Nutritional harm reduction is a big one. So that's what I want to introduce to the viewers today, that even though we have traditional Thanksgiving and Christmas meals, it's the, turkey. Some people are now doing fried turkeys and ham and rolls and everything that comes along with it, all the fixings. With tradition, it's okay to break it in terms of eating healthier. So I was hoping to actually show you a finished product of some rice cauliflower and some greens. You guys probably can see some of my purchases. We eat the rainbow. So the more colorful foods that you have, peppers, I got some sweet potatoes back there. I don't know if you guys can actually see them, but we do want to have a variety of foods. And in suppers, we don't say you have to lead any type of lifestyle. If you want to be a vegan, be a vegan. If you want to be a vegetarian, a carnivore, omnivore, whatever, we support you in your intentions. So because health is an inside job, you do the experiments. What makes you feel good? And one of our concepts is how you feel is data. So if you ate the Snickers and you ate the brownie and then you just kind of crashed, it didn't make you feel too good. So you kind of take note of that. So the next time you say, well, I probably pass on that because I want to get through the day, with some energy. So we teach you about stabilizing your blood sugar level. And this is one of our charts. I should have shared that with you on the screen, but it shows how different foods will spike your blood sugar levels and get you to that crash. And then some that will keep it kind of in the middle zone. And then some that actually drop. So depending on what you put in your body, you can get that fuel that you need to make it through the day, or you can have that spike that's going to end in maybe a 2 or 3 o'clock crash, even with the carbs that we have. So I've got some fresh cranberries this season instead of the can that we're so accustomed to. I'm going to make some fresh cranberries, and it says even on the package it's a superfruit, and it really is. It's power packed. So there are some recipes, tons of recipes on our website, and I'll share that website with us later. What I have here, which is actually, it could be a gift, is our almond flatbread. It's gluten-free. It's with our almond flour. So there's not the wheat flour that may cause some issues with your digestion. And it's super easy to make. Anyone can do it. So in less than 5 minutes, you can prep this. You're putting the flour, your almond flour, you're putting olive oil, which is a good oil. You want to have your good fats, guys, to protect your brain. So I have in my cabinet at all times coconut oil, avocado oil. I have my my extra virgin olive oil. In the Mediterranean diet, they have more oils and they have less incidence of Alzheimer's. So I am trying to protect my brain and my heart and my joints as far as inflammation. So certain foods, you can learn all of that if you join us. You don't have to be here in Trenton, New Jersey. You could be anywhere around the world. You can hop on one of our Zoom meetings. We meet once a month, and we still, even though we can't come together physically, we can still come together virtually, and we can cook together and sit around the table and talk about healthy topics. So with this one, you just simply roll out the flatbread, the dough, in between 2 pieces of parchment paper, and then you score it and you bake it, and you would have these little flatbreads, and they can be put in a cute little Christmas tin, cheap, a healthy treat for someone. And that's an option for you as well. So with these, I kind of keep these on stash because I'm a snacker and I'm working remotely from home. So instead of grabbing the Doritos, I will have something that's gluten-free and healthy, so sometimes you just want to sink your teeth into something crispy and get that kind of, crunch going on. So the almond flatbreads are one of my favorite that I've learned since I've been a part of suppers. So that recipe I can definitely share with you, Sandra, so you can get that out to your people who have registered. There are other recipes. Like I said, the rice cauliflower is one of my favorite as well. You can put as many veggies, as many peppers you want in there. I love mushrooms, so you can slice up some mushrooms and saute that up in a frying pan. And I love the rice cauliflower. That's usually maybe every other week one of my side dishes. We do greens and cabbage saute as well. A lot of people think that greens have to have the meat products in it, whether it's smoked turkey or pork or anything like that to give it the seasoning, but you can definitely use your spices and your herbs to get those same type of effect. So you can experiment with anything. We do have, like I said, tons of recipes. You can look up through the ingredients. If you have a taste for sweet potatoes, it has recipes for sweet potatoes. If you have, even with root vegetables, you can look it up according to the type of dish it is. If it's a dessert, you want something sweet, we definitely use whole foods. So we do raw honey, we do agave, we don't do any white processed sugars. And we try to stay away from ingredients or processed foods and replace it with whole foods. And you may ask, well, what is a whole food? It's that one ingredient. It's a pepper. It's a sweet potato. So we stick to our whole foods and we try to support the local farmers. So I went to the Trenton Farmers Market and picked up some things yesterday. Enjoyed the atmosphere. They had some goodies outside of food that you can purchase as well. But yes, it's suppers. I have 2 meetings. I started in January of 2018, the Soulful Sunday Suppers, and it's a group of African-American women. And we come together, like I said, we cook together. We have a kitchen in Princeton, which we cannot use due to COVID. That is excellent, totally industrial. It's a restaurant. So we cook together. I met Faith, I want to say at that first meeting, and she came in and we've just been sharing and bouncing information. It's a good environment, a safe environment where we can support one another. We can info share. I'm most inspired when I'm inspiring others. I'm most encouraged when I'm encouraging others. So we can do more together than we can apart. So with the suppers program, you can go onto our website, learn more about it. It is www.thesuppersprograms.org. And my email is kim@thesuppersprograms.org. And my phone number is 609-845-4906. Feel free to reach out to me. I am available. I would love to meet new members any day. Thank you.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I really like that. And I like the idea of, you're not skimping. It doesn't seem like you're missing out on any kind of dish, really. You're just finding another way. So you're making it healthier. So I like that. So you don't, every time someone says, oh, you got to eat healthier, especially for the holidays, you're like, no, I want grandma's potatoes. Like, no, you can still make it, but maybe a little less of this, a little less of that. So I like it. It all sounds amazing and delicious.
Sandra, I am a food. I can do my testimony of suppers. I just making mention we met earlier on doing this, and I was diagnosed with an illness, and suppers has helped me so much in terms of rethinking how I think about food. As you said, so often you think of eating healthy as like that cannot taste good, right? But it's just going in and just being with the other individuals who are there with our African American group, being there, making the food from scratch, and then the table is set and we all sit around that table and we talk about how we feel, even just sitting there with the food in front of us because it's plated, and we're sitting there and we're talking about just sitting there and smelling the food, what kind of emotions that bring up for us, right? And then we talk about like different topics, as Kim said. But one of the key things you talked about, mashed potatoes. Kim, that's what Kim and I were talking about. Like, how could we get that? Is it Catalina? What's the name of the piece? It looks like kidney beans, but it's white.
Yes.
Yes, that peas, you can smush it or get a tin of it, wash it off because it within the tin, it can have may have a little salt. Wash it off, just rinse it off and smash it.
Yeah.
And then you actually saute some onions and you saute some garlic in of course, not olive oil, but like the avocado oil.
Yes.
And then you put the pea beans in it and you just actually kind of saute it. It is like mashed potato. I promise you, it is like mashed potato.
Wow,
It
wow.
is so delicious. So it just teaches you different ways of actually eating. And as she said, food is data. There's so many times that I have gone to suppers and left from suppers to go to to with my tummy full, but I don't feel sluggish. I went to the gym right after versus when I would eat my normal Jamaican food. You know where I'm going next. I want to go sleep. So that's what I'm saying. I'm finished.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You guys have my mouth watering. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to try a few things. I'm not big on the kitchen. Everybody knows that by now. I like quick and easy, quick, easy, healthy. Those are my three requirements. But I may have to try a few of these things. It sounds really good. And then Taylor's coming up, and Taylor has some even more. Taylor runs a whole kitchen, and she has all kinds of amazing things going on. Uh,
Yes.
oh my,
Yes. Hi.
hi
I'm
Taylor.
Taylor.
So
I
Taylor,
founded the Brooklyn. Yeah.
oh, well, let me just introduce you. Sorry. Taylor Erkinen. Oh boy, here we go. I thought I turned that off. Taylor Erkinen of the Brooklyn Kitchen. Uh, she that threw me off. Okay. The Brooklyn Kitchen's mission is to change the world by teaching people how to cook like grown-ups. I love every time I read it, I'm like, that is so funny, but it's true. With approachable hands-on cooking classes, inventive culinary experiences, and they say they specialize in interactive and educational experiences that foster community and redefine home cooking. I love it, love it, love it. Yes, because like Faith was mentioning before, we had to come up with creative ways, do different things, and so tell us what can we do? What are the different things we can do for this holiday that could, not to feel like we're skimping, like Kim and Faith was mentioning.
I think that, well, at the Brooklyn Kitchen, we speak to the rituals of cooking. So we try to instill for people to have their own comfort in their own kitchens that allow them to find that routine, to enjoy chopping food and to enjoy washing dishes. And so that the what has become so chores, right? Though we have to feed ourselves at least three times a day, every day. And so we want to make sure that, especially during this pandemic, when we are stuck at home, when we don't have a lot of opportunities to diversify and make things a little bit interesting, we find ourselves celebrating and enjoying and really just living within each individual moment. So I'm making something that is a very non-traditional dish that I started making a few years ago for Thanksgiving. It's a sauerkraut. I have some red and some green cabbage, just straight from the whole cabbage that I've been slicing away at to get to this really fine, just kind of loose bits of cabbage. I'll salt them according to a really loose recipe. It's 2% by weight, but I also think that it's adding something. We don't have to have a scale. It can be determined by taste. I'll use a scale because I'm going for volume here, but it is something that you can start to taste and feel without having to measure so specifically. And then we'll pack it into a couple of different jars. My family is around an hour away. We're not going to be gathering together for the holiday dinner, but I'm such a host. Like, I always want to make sure that everybody is fed, that I'm going to take my turkey, which is already reserved and already still being fed and still growing. We can't pull back on that. We're not going to kill the turkey early. The turkey is going to be maybe 18 pounds because I was expecting to host my whole family. I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut it up into portions, and I'm going to create a roast for each of my family's households. So my parents will have a smaller one, my sister and her kids, and my brother and his kids, and everyone will put it in the oven at the same time. We'll all kind of cross our fingers because this is definitely an untested recipe, but then we'll be able to gather in some capacity. At least we'll know if it's not a Zoom call or a FaceTime, we'll all be at the table at 2-ish, maybe 3, eating food that came from the same animal. So that's how I'm trying to envision reimagining the holiday this year. But it is a feast, right? No matter how many people you're feeding, you want to have a bounty, and you want to have the range of flavors. Like a perfect Thanksgiving plate is the turkey, the gravy, the mashed potatoes, the stuffing, and it's all a whole bunch. And but I always try to add like at least a green salad. My mother is more of a traditionalist, I guess, where she says that things like pasta salad or potato salad or macaroni salad, she counts those as salads. Like she's definitely been known to sort of like a Jello salad with meal, which is like not my thing. So I always try to have something that's like an actual green salad, but it's about the complementary flavors on the plate. So being that Thanksgiving is so heavy and gravy and rich and butter and so many different flavors, the cranberry sauce, I do personally love cranberry sauce in a can. It's like just so familiar to me, and like it's an exact specific sweet tart flavor that balances everything else. But I also like to have something fresh. The sauerkraut, which we will let ferment until Thanksgiving Day, which is about 10 days. I'm going to keep it somewhere warm in my house. I will make it in putting it all together. Once we salt it, we can put it into a couple different vessels. I'm making a lot, so I'm going to mix it all up. This is my red cabbage that I sliced the other day. I'm going to do it in a little layered bit. So I'm going to use small jars, not too small, but these quart jars, and the same thing. So when I drop off my turkey loaf, I'll drop off a little bit of this like red and green and red and green. By the time Thanksgiving comes around, it'll be pink. You'll have to check in with me in a couple weeks to get a picture of that, but I'll drop that off with the turkey. So I know that everybody's not cooking live with me, but I will start by adding a little salt. Real live kitchen chaos here. I'm going to just take a handful. I'm going to measure the bowl. This is science. We're going to do it with the scale. I'm getting the 0 point of the bowl and then adding, and then I'll measure the cabbage by weight. So almost exactly 650, we'll call it 650 grams. And so we're going to do 2%, so 12 grams of salt. Right? Yes. I'm writing it down though, because I get a little lost. We're just using standard diamond crystal kosher salts. And I'm watching the gram.
Are we losing Taylor? Taylor, we lost you. You're frozen. Uh-oh. Oh, she's back. She's on mute.
She's on mute. So she's talking to herself. Can we?
Let me see. Oh, and now we lost her screen. And you're muted.
Are we here again?
Okay, there we go.
So this becomes another therapeutic moment, right? In the kitchen. The slicing, the just like getting into the rhythm of using the knife is one place where you practice the physical skills. It's a muscle memory, and it becomes a vinyasa almost, where you're just cutting and moving and cutting and focusing all of your effort and energy into the food that you'll be preparing for your family. I remember and understand where the cabbage came from. I remember and understand the salt, the origins of this tradition of food preservation. And as we cut, we observe, we massage, and this is just another point of opportunity for us to really develop a relationship with the food that we will be eating and understand the work that goes into it. This is when I take I just take all the extra energy that I have floating around in my body and I push it into my fingertips, out through my fingertips and into the cabbage, and I let the cabbage start to break down with the salt, and then just push it and crush it and push it and crush it until it starts to feel wet. And then we just gonna keep on pushing and crushing and pushing and crushing until water starts to emerge from the cells, and the cells break down because of the salt and because of the pressure and because of the energy that we've expended into it, and it starts to really loosen up. That is going to become our pickling brine, our pickling liquid. And then as we pack it into jars, we really cram it down so that it becomes completely submerged. This creates an anaerobic environment to be able to do real very simple lacto-fermented fermentation. The lactic acids and the microbes that are already within this cabbage is coming out and creating this anaerobic, no oxygen environment that keeps the good bacteria growing and the bad bacteria away. I'll create with my jar. I lost it already. It's right here. Within the jar, I can put a piece of cabbage whole at the top and push down on the material to make sure that it stays below the level of the brine. I'm going to keep doing it if you guys want to keep talking. I don't have enough brine to move on to the next step, but I'm going to keep massaging. A couple of days before Thanksgiving, this will be it'll be red and green and red and green, and probably one stripe, and then it'll blend together and be a nice pink shade. A couple of days, that's when I know it's done. I'll add some dried cranberries and some fresh cranberries and just let the fresh fruit imbue into the mix. That creates that's what makes it Krankraut. That's what makes it a Thanksgiving side dish. But that isn't something that I would do with the whole batch. This is our dialing in for winter. This is laying up our pantry. This is stocking our shelves with something that will be possibly in the middle of February, the only thing fresh on the plate as we get into the season where we have so many heavy roots and so many just heavy cooked foods, and the earth hasn't given us freshness yet. But so I'm laying in for the season, and part of the holidays for me is about that. It is about sharing and gathering together and checking in with each other about how the harvest went and how the seasons are about to change, and making sure that everybody's got enough blankets and enough food in their larder. So just getting an opportunity to feel like a squirrel with plenty of nuts ready for the winter's hibernation or what might be close to it. So that is my short story on making cabbage sauerkraut for Thanksgiving.
It's almost like a meditative kind of process.
It's such a meditative process. And so we really it makes such a difference. The work that you're doing at this point, the work that the feelings that you're putting into the food will come through in the flavor. And if there's anger and bad vibes, that gets put in there too. And so if there's blessings and if there's love and if there's optimism, it will work. I mean, it will just be part of what you feed your family.
Oh, I love it. I love it because, I'm thinking that's a condiment, but it's really a side dish.
Yeah.
It's so rich, and
it will be a wonderful balance to I'm like I said, I still haven't worked out all of the particular details for how to execute this very, very non-traditional dinner, but I want to have those rich roasty flavors of the turkey, and I want to have some stuffing because I love stuffing. But what will be and I have to make some gravy. It's going to be a small small pan of gravy, but I have to have some gravy. I'm very, very serious. I feel very seriously about a buttery rich gravy. But this, as a bright, citrusy, and sweet from the cranberries kind of complement, will help the palate to understand all of the gravy flavors too.
Okay, and you did mention that it's fermented, so
Yes.
that also helps digestion.
Exactly. So we try to have a pickle on every plate, because that it helps the gut to balance out all of the food that's coming down. So this will, like I said, in the middle of February, when the earth hasn't started to open up anything fresh, this will help all winter long.
Oh, wow. And you said it's 14 days to have it all
It
nicely.
depends, pardon. It depends on the environment within which these vessels will sit. I do a lot of pickling, so we have a lot of vessels, but I will probably put this into this Lipton Sun tea jar. It's just a good size. It's about a gallon. It has a screw on top, and it's almost perfect, and it'll be lovely to see the changing of the colors. And then I'll put it into another similar vessel, but I will pack some individually for I might pack it at the end, but I'll keep it in the warmer side, and it'll take about 10 days. It depends really on the ambient temperature where you have your vessel fermenting. It should stay in the dark, so cover it up with a towel or find a nice shady spot. I'll probably tuck this down on a lower shelf by the radiator, so it has some direct heat that helps it bubble faster. So I would say anywhere from, 6 in the summer to 14 in the winter, it could take, but taste it along the way. Critical things to remember is that we want to maintain that anaerobic environment. So I always use just a full leaf. I keep a couple full leaves to submerge all the pieces of the sauerkraut below the level of the brine. And then keep it covered with either a coffee filter or a thin cloth, so that the flies don't get in, but you want to be able to keep the action happening below the level of the water.
Okay.
That is the gateway ferment. It's the gateway pickle. This is it's an easy one to start. I mean, you get a big bang for your buck. This is still another quarter of the cabbage that I've been cutting, and I have already this much. It does break down as you massage, so this will probably make a half gallon or more of the sauerkraut.
Okay. So I'm looking at your jar and talking about the colors and the different tastes once you add the cranberries in. So if you put a bow on it, this technically, like we were talking about, this is a present that I made.
Yes. This is definitely part of my holiday plans is to bring things that have come from my kitchen and not necessarily come from Walmart to share with my family. This is much more meaningful, much more healthy, much more productive, and much more sustainable for everybody. Yeah.
Wow. And I really love the idea that you're sending out little gifts to everyone, so everyone's going to be cooking the same thing at the same time and eating the same thing at the same time.
I think it really matters. I think that's one of the reasons, aside from, the turkey lobbying industry, why turkey has become that traditional meal, is that people want to be able to share in that common experience. So, those flavors have become part of the expectation for me of the feeling of Thanksgiving, which I really appreciate, just because it gives an opportunity to eat pie for breakfast. But it allows us to all come together and gather while we can't be in person.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. I love
Thank you.
You guys have some really great suggestion. Someone else I'm going to share with you. Someone sent to me. Let me see. Can I share? Let me see if this will happen.
Can you guys hear the squeaking?
So the juices
I need the mic up to the bowl here.
The juices are coming.
The juices are coming.
Let's see. Okay. So
This
that
is my first layer, and then move to red.
What I love that you said is that it helps in terms of the gut,
Yes.
that is, you know, if not for the holidays is one thing, but in general, that is so important. I know that Kim, she eats a lot of that, right, Kim?
I do. It's so good for you with
Have
the
you pickled, Kim?
yeah.
Yes.
Good, good, good.
We have those classes at the suppers program, and
Oh, great.
I do enjoy making it, and I enjoy eating it. And we can make it spicy. I love the spicy.
For some reason, the other one is not coming up, but she, Empamama, Gianni from Empamama's in here in Teaneck, she was telling me about this amazing, it's, you know, macaroni and cheese, you know, they're every table from so many different cultures, but she made it with cauliflower. And, you know, I didn't make it yet, but you know, these are kind of the ingredients. I'm trying to find the picture that she sent to me, and it's like, oh, wow.
Oh, I want that recipe. That
You
sounds
you
really
have
good.
yeah, because you can make, you know, you don't have to make a traditional pasta. It could be from cauliflower. Cauliflower is being used in so many different things. Like Kim was telling us, the rice. I think, where did I see the flour or the powder somewhere that you could use it, that they use for pizza or something like that. So yeah, it could, you know, again, you don't have to skimp on taste or, you know, but definitely the source of what it's where it's coming from. It's very beneficial. Let's see.
Taylor, was that a cauliflower that you had there?
It was. You just reminded me that I found the last beautiful purple cauliflower at the farmer's market yesterday, and I've just
Oh
been
my God.
dreaming about it. Keeps coming up in my mind.
Wow.
It's so lovely.
It's
I need
beautiful.
to like think about what to cook with her, but first subject her to a little bit of, or a couple hours of just like beauty shots. I think I just need to dress her in.
Yeah, dress her up
Uh,
and take
I
picture.
need to dress her up, and yeah, she's the object of a lot of fascination for me
That's
right now.
some foodie right there. They got to dress up their food for a photo shoot.
Yeah, I know. It's the Instagram world. I'm just living in it.
Exactly. Well, any Q&As? Does anyone have any Q&As to these ladies today? I don't, let me see if there's any. No, I don't see any. Okay, well, I guess you're gonna share, you can log in or contact them, and they can even share more or tell you what's going on. So I'm so glad everyone was able to join us and teach us something today. I'm glad, I hope everyone got something out of it and learned something and can approach this holiday season a little bit differently. So just, you know, let us know, do you guys have anything coming up? You know, you all are have different things going on. Myself, every Wednesday, we're going to have, I have lunch and learn on Wednesdays where pretty much, I don't know about you, I spend a lot of time at my desk. So, you know, we're doing meditation, desk yoga. I'm showing you how to do a little bit of body massage while you're sitting at your desk. So I have that on Wednesdays. Anything coming up for you, Faith and Kim and Taylor? What's going on in your
World.
world?
Well, earlier I had said I was talking about the little ponder this notes, and this is one that it says ponder this. I've always thought that a big laugh is really loud. No, I have always thought that a big laugh is a really loud noise from the soul saying, "Ain't that the truth?" That's from Quincy Jones. And
Oh,
the question is, schedule some time, or the statement is, schedule some time in your daily planner. If you don't, no one else will. to laugh.
Exactly. You don't do
Right? So just
Time
on
to
a
laugh.
daily basis, you pull one of these cards and it reminds you, so did I laugh today? What can I do to have a good laugh today, right? So
Nice.
it's a tin of 52 in the tin, 52 messages in the tin. And they're available. I could actually send you the link to get them. And I have journals also, Journal to Wellness, as you mentioned, and the book Discover Break Free, 52 tips to escape from your self-imposed prison. So it's a workbook with different activities you can do to kind of, and I think especially this year has really brought up for us that, you know what, the stuff that doesn't really matter. It's just being happy with oneself, not with everyone else and what everyone wants us to do. It's just being happy and contented with who we are as a person. So that's one of the things. And as I mentioned, the New Jersey Hope and Healing, please use that as a great resource, not only for yourself, but to have it. I have the numbers in my phone, so that if I speak to someone and they say I'm not feeling good, I'm just having a difficult time, I give them that number so that they can actually call someone and speak with someone. That's the greatest gift you can possibly sometimes give someone, that opportunity to do that. So that's who I am and that's what I do. And I'm so happy again to be here, Sandra.
newfuture.com. And Kim, what do you have coming up at the suppers?
We do have a list of events on the website. They have some webinars. I know there was a yoga for digestion on the website. Dr. Addie Bonito, she's an endocrinologist who's on our board, and she does some talks about your blood sugar and keeping it stable throughout the holidays. So you can check out some of the events on our website that are upcoming. I believe the registration is free, but they are asking for donations, whatever you can afford during this time. If you can't, that's fine. But yes, it's www.thesupperswithanS.org. And you can
I'm gonna have to check it out.
and our signature suppers, like the soulful suppers, we are still adding to the calendar. So just look forward to that one. And the Bethany House supper is on the first Sunday of the month. So anywhere where you guys can log in and join us with Zoom. It's been more around talking more so than cooking, but we have shared what we're eating. If it's not the same recipes, we just say, hey, what you have for lunch or what you have for dinner. It's really
awesome.
Okay.
What's going on in the kitchen, Taylor?
That's beautiful. I'm so inspired by what you put together for the Supper Club. Like being able to connect with human beings over food is incomparable. The Brooklyn Kitchen is launching our first real online experiences that are more comprehensive than just a Zoom call. So we are launching an online university in December. We will be pre-selling some cohorts of a progressional learn how to cook series class. I think that all of you may be beyond the basics, but if you know anybody who you think could benefit from knife skills and some really core home economics training in the home, we will be launching that this December. And we are planning on reestablishing physical locations once the pandemic will allow. So once safety will allow, we look forward to gathering together again in person. But until that time, we're doing it online.
Yeah. You gotta do it.
It's thebrooklynkitchen.com is our website. And like I said, we'll be launching the online university courses. And it's not like university, it's like home economics, online home economics.
And what do you have there? Let me see. The colors are coming.
The colors are coming out. So I was massaging the red cabbage and now layering it in. So just cramming that down. I'll just pack it in with my hands with the end of a wooden spoon. Things will get loud, but I'll really jam it in there. This is like when we go on mute, and then I'll pack that up and continue to
giving love.
Build our jar.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
Taylor, you're making an assumption about some of our cooking skills. I know I think that nice skill thing.
I
I didn't
the
see
knife
her cook,
skills
so I was
is-
like, this
Yeah,
might
no, the
work.
knife skills is a class that everyone should take at least once in their lives. And chefs of all levels have been able to benefit from what we're able to teach. Like I said, it's not just skills, but it's also the becoming so comfortable with the process that it is a meditative moment that you're able to incorporate in your everyday, right? That's how it should be. I mean, it should be a time when you're in the kitchen to kind of blank out all of the bullshit that is distracting you and allow you to just come back to the same physical muscle memory that allows food to get put on the table, because we have to eat every day,
Yeah.
pretty much. So if we have to eat every day, we have to cook a whole lot, and we might as well enjoy it while we can.
As they say, you're put the love back into it, you know.
Mhm.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Oh,
Thank you guys so much.
thank you guys so much for joining us and, you know, making this wonderful brunch. And hopefully we can do it together, all together in the future. And let's talk
Let's
about
have
that
tea.
so we can wear our fascinators and all that and, you know, drink with the pinky up. Okay, well, thank you again. And
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonia.
let me get my plans together because you've given me so many ideas. And so thank you again. And everybody, let me see, I'll cut off everyone else and say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, ladies. Thank you.
Bye. This was awesome. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you so much.
So much.
Yes, I'm stopping Facebook. I stopped. Okay.
I just wanted that recipe.
Which one?
The recipe for the cauliflower mac and cheese.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can put it up. Let me try my screen share again. There's one. Can you see it? Take a picture.
Yeah, wait. Let me move this out of the way. I need
Oh
to,
yeah, send that through.
screenshot.
I have to say, I
Yes.
really appreciate like portioning recipes, sizing recipes for one bag of frozen vegetables. It makes sense, you know. It's not like 16 florets or something. Size it reasonably.
Thank you.
So is this a full recipe,
Yeah.
Sandra?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Wow.
I mean,
I'm going to try this.
yeah, and I wish why can I not bring up the picture? Hold on. Let me try again. Oh, hold on. Aha. Let's see. There's like 50 pictures on. Can you see?
No, I don't see. It is the same. We only have the ingredients.
Okay, no, I was trying to show it.
No, but we don't see any picture.
You don't see a picture?
No.
Hmm.
So
It's just the
unshare it.
recipe.
Just the recipe.
Okay. Stop share. Okay, I'm gonna try it again. It's a recipe with the
Oh
picture.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
you see what it looks like, how delicious? And that's
Oh my goodness, that's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
that's cauliflower. See, it works.
Yes.
Okay, don't this, it says it's not collecting my my wait. Let me exit full screen and then I can, all right. Now I can take a thing off it. It wouldn't allow me to. 1 minute. Wait, let me just. Okay. All right. So I did take it. I did have it now. I do have it now.
And you see a lot of people substituting the pastas with like the spaghetti squash.
Yeah.
You have different zucchini noodles instead of the pasta. So yeah.
I've been having trouble with, yeah, that was a little bit of a disaster.
What?
It didn't work out too well for me. The zucchini noodles as pasta. It was
Oh, really?
a little bit of a mush. I was like,
And you overcooked them?
You're when there was no cooking involved, that's why I'm so interested in pickling. Like I can pickle.
Oh yeah.
Stay
Yeah.
away from the stove.
It's so
But
much fun. Your kitchen doesn't smell that great, but
no, but it's gonna be good
it's
once
good
it's
for
done.
you. It's so good for you.
Oh my gosh. But
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I'll have to learn the timing with
Look
when
at that. That looks good.
the zucchini
That's so
noodles.
pretty.
Wow. So yeah, I'll just like cut around the little lid here, just make a little hat, and then tuck it inside so that the leaves and all the little strings stay below the level of the water.
Oh, so you gave it a little hat. Look at that.
We give a little hat,
Yeah, you capped it off.
right? We'll cap it off.
That's
It's
beautiful.
hard to see, but
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
yeah, the purple is just
Great,
so lovely.
especially with the
It's on my hands too.
very healthy, especially with the red cabbage.
Yeah.
And you did, Taylor, you didn't say how much salt to put in it because you got
It's
frozen out when
I
Oh,
we were so it is I was using 2%, 2% of the weight by weight.
Mhm.
But it really is something which should be and should always be by taste. So
Oh, okay.
Yes, they say like a
You drink
it's
it?
pretty salty. It's pretty salty. The first, I think it may have been frozen when this happened, but I was dumping and I dumped in way too much salt.
yeah.
So this jar, it might be too salty. I might mix this back in with the rest of it and do a not for television jar. That was it's way too salty.
okay.
But yeah, it's about 2% and it should taste like the sea. It should taste not it is it's a personal development, taste, flavor, understanding, to know when that level is right. But I feel like that's a human personal calibration too.
Yeah.
Something that the more you cook, the more you know, the more you come to understand what's right. And that's too salty.
That's too soft.
Okay, so definitely taste it before you close it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll dump this right back into another jar, add more unseasoned cabbage, and then just keep working it down. So
Yeah, okay.
it'll taste the same in February.
Cool. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
So great. And what else? I did not mention. Did I mention? Yeah. So we have that on Wednesdays, and let's see what's coming up for December. All
Okay,
Thank
perfect.
you.
right.
Bye. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Nice to meet everyone.
Nice to meet
Likewise, likewise. Happy
Yes.
holidays.
you. Happy holidays.
Yes.